Well, hello everybody. Little change here. We're not going to use the green screen. We're going to use this little circle thingy and I hope that it works. No idea. The it looks like it's kind of fine. If I'm like in the in the microphone area, it looks like it should be fine. And so we have a Morvenn Vahl here, and we're gonna get started right away. No dillying or dallying. This is a commission piece, so we're not gonna have like too many creative liberties with this. We want to stick to the scheme. In fact, we're gonna have to nerd out a little bit and refer to the old Hellfire secret Hilroy lined notepad to see the colors that we use, because I haven't painted these sisters in a little while. But that does not matter because the beginning of this mini is pretty straightforward. It is a gold. I think we're gonna. I like a Morvenn Vahl all in gold. I think it's a baller look. So we're gonna start with that. We have an airbrush right here. Let's bring out some other quality hobby products. Alright, so airbrush is here and ready to go. Let's give this a little quick try here just to see. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a storm outside, so if this cuts abruptly, just know that I've ran out of power. So, it has happened before, but I don't know. It looks. I think it's on it's on the down. It's coming. It's coming down. It's such a bad pun. I mean, it's like on the closing end of the storm. The worst of it is past. There we go. See, I said it. I think. I'm no. I'm not. I didn't even think it was supposed to. I thought it was like supposed to be 1,000,000 degrees again today. Apparently not. Maybe it's gonna be 1,000,000 degrees and raining, which would suck. You get. What is this? Put way too much thinner. What the fuck is this? What the fuck's going on? Please hold. This is so weird. Whoa, whoa. Oh, that is so bad. Oh my god. Okay, well, we'll give this guy a good shake. Maybe that's the. There we go. Alright, take two. Okay. What an odd start. I never had the primer do this. This was a weird one. Oh, there we go. See, that looks like. Now we're cooking with fire. There we go. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. So we're gonna do our classic double prime, which is this prime, but like very poorly, as you can see. So. Go kind of quickly with this, and we're gonna go mostly in the recesses. We don't need to make this like perfect, but really the nooks and crannies is what's important for this, because that's the part that we're expecting are gonna stay, black, or we'll have the most black shown through. Give this a rest. We'll just do the bases real quick. Oh, there it was. I don't like the faces very much, but I do have them. I glued just barely the helmet in because I like it better, but then we might include the face in the. We might do the face eventually in this stream. We'll see. Also, we'll make the bases. Yeah. I have 3 Paragon war suits in the making, so we're just gonna airbrush the bases at the same time. We have the airbrush and the primer out. There's no reason to like postpone this, and it's not taking like a big chunk of time out of this, you know, this stream. So. Okay, I think we're good with this. Yeah. Yeah, we should be fine with this to get us going. So now we'll switch up to the gold. Because there's a bunch of ways you can do this. Yeah, you can do the Morvenn Vahl in the same color as like your sisters. You can do the box art is like not really gold. I think it's like brass color. Just or like a dull bronze, maybe like a yeah. I think that's like dull bronze is like brass. I think that's the proper name for it. So our army, the gold for the army is Retributor Gold with the Garrox Earthshade. So of course that's what we're going to use, but we're also going to highlight this gold a little bit more because it's, you know, it's not some generic sister. This is the main, you know, the main lady, right? Let me like Morvenn Vahl is definitely the main character. You know what I mean, like in the sisters. She the main character for sure. There's no question about it. Oh, so I'll just move the bases out of the way. I don't want to get like overspray on them or anything, and we don't need to do those until later in the process. So we're gonna do the entire like armor and model. The weapon we don't really care, and obviously the robe, but the robe will get some overspray on it. So but like I'm not too sure what we're doing with this, like what exactly the color that we're doing. So. We'll just do like a big old sack of gold, and then we'll figure it out later, you know. So like under the arm, I know it's like it's gonna be shadowy and stuff, but if we leave it black, it's gonna be wacky. So instead, we want to just go super light. That way, it is gold, but there's like a lot of black showing through. Because if we leave it black, then it just looks really undone. That's no good. Same thing, like this gun, I don't think is gonna be gold at all, but if we don't do it, might look stupid. And then the hand here is a little bit. Okay, so I like this. This didn't take us too long to do, and we got like a good clean, like solid gold, which is kind of the important thing. Is like the top part is like the yellowish gold, like you know, it's like rap superstars would wear this on their neck. Like this is iced out, I think, is the proper nomenclature. So I like this, and then we're gonna dump this back in because we're probably gonna use it. Come on now. And then we're just gonna splice in a little bit of that. So whatever's left over in there, and then we're gonna add just a couple of drops of like shining silver. If you're like a Games Workshop only type of dude, just use a Storm Host Silver is the fancy one. That's the next best thing. But I have Shining Silver here, so that's the one I'm going to use. So now this is going to give us like a super light color. So now this one we're only highlighting. We don't want to... Because this one, when you do it right, it almost looks like you're doing nothing at all, which is kind of weird. A weird way to think about it. Okay, and we're also going to sponge this off because I know myself. I'm going to put my finger in this. Then we can dump this mix of colors because it's not really going to be used for anything. And we're going to give our airbrush a quick rinse. We're going to reuse it later because we want to do a big bold power weapon on this. You know, what's the point of having a huge spear if you're not going to make it glow? So we don't need to like really like deep clean this airbrush, but we also don't want to leave it to dry. Because like metallic paint, once it dries in your airbrush, you're in big trouble. It is not easy to fix. So now I got most of the. I'll just double check here my colors again. So I'm this here. This is a notebook that makes literally no sense to anybody. What the fuck is that? That's disgusting. Sorry. The fuck was that? Anyway, yeah, this is a notebook that makes no sense to anybody, but it's a bunch of stuff that I do. You know, all the colors that I use. So you can see French Swiss Dead Guard, all the colors, and it's like, you know, scratch top, and there's a bunch of like changes and there's codes. It's really hard to understand for anybody except me. Oh, there we go. Tim, Sisters of Battle. Well, look at that. And so this is essentially what we want. So Retributor and the Grox is what we did, but we added Suit on Big Gun, so we need to do that. Flesh. Guilliman Flesh and Luxion Purple. This is interesting. This is not going to be used for this. Okay, so Wolf Grey, Celestial. Oh, so you see Wolf Grey, I was wrong about. I had a different color picked out. Black Incubi Temple Guard, that's for big parts. Okay, we're in business with this. Okay, so we'll just keep this around. I'm just looking for Wolf Grey, which I think I have somewhere. No, there it is. Wolf Grey. That's the color that we were not using previously. Well, I thought I wasn't going to use it. Hello? Okay. I gotta knock the microphone there for a second. Oh no, the volume went way down. What the fuck is this? Hello? Hello? Microphone? So weird. The volume just dropped significantly for no good reason. Oh, it's whatever. Okay, all right. Let's enough of this. Let's get our Shining Silver. We'll just do quick highlights. I think, you know, this is a fancy, you know, it's a centerpiece model, so we'll do some fancy highlights with this, just to, you know, make it stand out a little bit. Now, a good question that we can start asking is: do we want to add some purpley armor parts, or do we just want to do the robe? Oh, thank you, Philip. Thanks, buddy. Every time I go to Vice, I keep expecting to see you because you check in on all the Thursday night games, and I'm always like, oh, he's gonna be there. I'm gonna see the Dark Angels in action. You're never there, never there. I'm being gaslit. Um, I'm not going solely for that, so that's not the big deal. But every time. Yeah. So how much, if any? I think we keep all the robes purple, and we don't. I don't think we need to do too much with the armor. Like the armor is already like super intricately detailed, so I don't think we need to fuck with it too much. You know, like it's gonna look super cool regardless, is what I think. So we don't. I don't think we need to add like too much like inserts, like because we could do like the inside of the plates. Like we could do that in a different color, but is this gonna really like add a lot to the? Because if we do that, then we could do the robe in black, but then the purple becomes really kind of like a secondary choice where you almost don't notice that there's any purple. Like, it's an interesting. It's an interesting like thinking thing. Like it's worth thinking about it. But I don't know. I don't know. And so we're not doing, with our buddy here, friend of the program, the Green Wombat. This like the highlight like king. He highlights like a crazy person. We're not gonna do that here. We're gonna get some highlights in there, but we're not highlighting every. En regardant le deuxième étage complet cet été, t'es très occupé, Cherovis. Ce soir. Of course you're going to. Of course you're going to. God damn it. That being said, maybe I take a break from painting for one. I have a lot of like stuff going on, so I've been pretty busy with the painting process. So I've been. But then Max asked me if I wanted to play Warhammer tonight. So dilemmas. Like the real question, like, do I deserve a break? Is the real question. Sadly I think I don't. I think I need to paint some more. We'll see. We'll see kind of how the day goes. Maybe we do some good progress, and I go, yeah, you know what? Let's take a breather. Because since last Friday, I've worked 77 hours on like painting minis. So that's a good amount of hours. So maybe I did like get a whole lot done though, so it's not like it's not wasted. Um, but there was not a lot of like living in the last few days. And then so if we add that to today, which is like with the stream is kind of practical because then I get to do commission and stream, so we don't really break our routine, me and the YouTube fam, and also I get to still work on this stuff that I need to get done because this Morvenn Vahl is going to Europe in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, 2 weeks. I don't know exactly, but like. Okay, so we got a bunch of highlights. So maybe we do color blocking for this. There's a lot of like moving pieces on this, so maybe we just work on a couple of base coats. What do you guys think? Do we do base coats or do we finish gold and then work on another color, finish it, and then move on? I think we can. It doesn't really matter. I think. I don't think it makes a big difference. This mini is pretty. For such a detailed mini, it's pretty cut and dry. I think to paint, so it's not the biggest deal, whichever one. But you guys are watching. There's like 3 of you. That's cool. So, oh shit, there's a bunch of you. So yeah, just leave a. So, do you guys want to see one color that we do fully, or do we do all the colors like base coat and then we work into the like finishing each color? You guys tell me. I'll find some coffee while you guys tell me what to do. You know, I am but your humble servant. If I hold my mug really differently, you can see that it's a sweet Elfire mug, and that's cool. Um, well, all right, fine. You guys keep your secrets then. I see how it is. I see how it is. Hold on. I'll just send my buddy Timmy a picture of this lady live on YouTube. Okay. All right. Well, all right. You guys don't tell me shit. That's okay. That's fine. I'll do what I want then. I'm good at doing what I want. Imagine. Can you imagine that? I want very little, so it helps. Let's take this big brush here. Doesn't look like much. And let's just a grok shade this like a motherfucker. Like a. Whew. Okay. Big bong. So a Grok's Earthshade. And we can be pretty generous with this because like the worst case is we're like too heavy on the Agrox. And then this would just mean that we get to do like an extra highlight with the airbrush. Like we can just whip out our airbrush and then do the same kind of same mix that we did already with like the gold and the silver and just re-highlight on top of it. And it would create even more depth to the mini. Can I move this like that way a little bit? Oh. Ah. Oh, this is cool. Okay, yeah. Because then the other challenge is going to be to add some non-gold. Because like, if you're like kind of not like in a rush, well, kind of I guess in a rush, or if you just want like a quick model to put on the table, like most of this can stay gold and nobody will bat an eye. Like all of this armor, you can do all gold. And fuck's going on outside? Yeah, you can do all gold and not really sweat too much. But if you want to, amp up the quality, then you have to figure out how to break off the entire gold to make it like stand out a little bit more. So I think that's going to be our real challenge is what is not gold in this in this gold. So because we want to keep a lot of it because we love the bling, right? Well, I love it. I don't know about you. I love the bling. I'm all about this hip hop life. He even has a big chain that goes way down, so that's how you know. That's how you know she takes the bling life very seriously. Big chains. Look at this plate here. We can be pretty heavy with because like all the little letters in there. Oh, you just watch. Oops. Okay, so I can't hold on to that part. That's annoying. Oh yeah. Oh. Look at that. Oh, all the detail is revealed. And then Because after this, what I'm thinking is maybe we also add some purple shading to all of this affair. Because the army is purple, so that that's a fun part. Um, so this would like really drive in more purple to this mini, even though we were doing the robe in purple, the cloak robe, the skirt in purple. We can still have more in there. We'll do the entire like this piece is a good candidate of not being gold and being silver, but since we don't know yet, we'll just shade it like there's no tomorrow. We don't need to question this. There's gonna be a time for like questions about like should this stay this color, but that's for later. Right now, let's just slam this down. And then if we go like too heavy, which I think we're going heavy enough. We can just work on the base a little bit. We'll just dry brush the bases next. That way, it'll give this wash like some time to dry, and then we can see if we want to add the purple. The purple to the armor, of course. What I mean, because obviously we're gonna add purple to this piece. There's no way around it. Gots to have the purple. And then this plate here is like a little bit. Okay. Oh, the shield is not really, well, not done at all actually. And then the front of the shield. That's also a good spot to go like heavy because there's so much detail in there. It's gonna look good no matter what. Not no matter what, but sort of. We can just go to town with this. Bam. Okay. So I think we got everything, even under the arm there, which is like the easy to forget part. We did. So I think we're good. So we're gonna leave this. We're gonna put this little lady to the side for a minute here. We are gonna take a big ass brush and dry brush the bunch of bases that we got here, so that these are ready to go when we are ready to go, and then we'll come back to little Miss Golden Pants over here. Bap, bap, bap. And again, we're going to do all three. I know it's a little bit anticlimactic to do extra bases for models that we don't see, but it's the only bases I need for the models that I'm painting in the sister army. So I don't want to redo those. Like taking a dry brush and everything, or even just the airbrush primer and stuff, and doing that again is kind of like it's a big waste of time for. And so this is wolf gray, and we're just dry brushing the wolf gray here, and then we're gonna add some other dry brush. I have to check the notebook again. I just remembered the wolf gray because it was not what I thought it was. So that's why I remember that color, but the other ones I don't remember. Ooh. Okay. And then this one here. So we're gonna start with the sand, and we're just gonna dry brush everything, and then we'll figure out later because we can do like the skulls in a different manner. I don't think doing the broken piece of wall a different color really adds much to this mini, because keeping the base a little bit like simple makes a lot of sense for this, because we have like a super bold miniature. Like we don't need the base to really be a whole lot, because this miniature by itself is like it's a lot to begin with. So if we painted maybe like a very grim dark mini, then it would make sense to have the base a lot more intricate. But because the mini on top is so vibrant and colorful, I don't think the base needs a whole lot of like pizzazz to it, you know. Well, it needs more than what's currently on it, but like you don't need this wall to be marbled and whatnot. It don't make sense. That's what I always tell people. Is like, well, if the first thing that people notice on your mini is the base, you probably fucked up somewhere. Especially if the model is like a giant lady in a golden suit of exo armor, and people say, "Oh, that base is really nice," and you fucked up. You know, congratulations on having a nice base, but you fucked up. Okay, so what's the other colors that go on these? It's just Celestra. So it's this and Celestra Gray. So pretty. So maybe we do add one more. That wasn't me. Maybe we do add one more color to the big one, to the ruins and stuff. Or maybe we add a color, but it's a black. Oh, we could do a black shading on the rune piece. That would be interesting. So I'm leaving kind of the middle a little bit darker on these bases, and that's because there's going to be a huge warsuit on there, so it doesn't need to be doesn't need to be highlighted really. Pop, pop. And then this one. So I think what we do is we'll take like Ultuan Gray and do the skulls. Is it Ultuan Gray? What color do we do the purity seals and stuff on this? Okay, blah 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 blah. Wolf Gray, Celestra Gray, and white. So Wolf Gray, Celestra, yeah. So I think we do the skulls, and then we add like a shade of null oil on the skulls and the ruined wall, and that will make them just different and more detailed enough, but also keep in tune with our kind of monochromatic looking base. So let's actually finish the bases right now. Well, these ones are already. These are the other projects. We don't need those. But let's take our white. This is not white. I'm been playing with this recently. I bought this last week. It's really interesting. It's a very potent stuff. I like it a lot actually. I'm just not used to it, so it's more potent than I think it is, because it's very liquid, but it's also very opaque. So it tricks me a little bit, where I'm like, oh, this is like super smooth. It's gonna go, it's gonna be a little bit transparent. Nope, super opaque. Fuck me. Because I've been kind of moving away from the army painter. Like the recent paint pots I've got from them are not good at all. I've had like all sorts of issues with them, so I'm like, besides the metallic speed paints, all the recent like army painter stuff that I bought was like really subpar in terms of quality. And so everything that's not like a mandatory color, I've been trying to switch to a different brand as I get to replace them. And then white was like the one that I needed replacing. So, you know, the store I went to, Vice Miniatures, they had the AK. Originally I wanted to go the AK route because I heard good thing about that. But the guy at the store said I've been using titanium from Monument. I really like it for Pro Acryl. Really like it. So I figured, oh well, we'll try that one. And I think it was just trying to swindle me because the Pro Acryl one is like a much bigger container and it's like $2 more. So I think he really just wanted my $2. And that's why he said that. But that's okay because we ended up liking it. So, but I see right through them. Um, okay, so I like this, and then we're gonna get to, this is nothing. Again, this is nothing groundbreaking, but we're putting a giant gold lady on top of it, so this does not need to be a whole lot. It doesn't need to do a whole lot to work. So now we're gonna add null oil, and null oil is kind of great for this because they toned it down a lot. Like null oil is not what it used to be. So even on this white that we just did, is gonna work out great without staining it too much. And then we'll try also to limit this to only the wall sections. We're not gonna. We'll start with the wall and then we'll work our way. There we go. Into the skulls. That will give the white some extra time to dry. And the reason I want to do the skulls with this shade is, first of all, it makes it blend a little bit more, but also it the eyes and the teeth and the nose hole like all become black, like fully black, which is what I like because that's how you can tell that they're skulls and not just like extra pieces on the base. So I like that a lot. So we can put the base away now. We're kind of ready for more of the Morvenn Vahl. And where is there's like a medium-sized brush that I used that I can't find. Oh, that one. That one looks pretty decent. Pretty decent. Okay. Let's get started on the. Do we do metallics? Let's do metallics. For nobody's really talking much, so I'll do what I want. This paint pot is garbage. I got two lead belchers, one good one and one bad one. So we're gonna try to use up all of the bad one as much as possible before it dies. Okay, so let's do we'll start with the mandatory silvery thingy. So we'll do the bolter first, and then the most of the spear. And then I think we're gonna do the rocket pods thingamabob in this color. And so right now it doesn't look like much, but once we add some shading to the silver, it's gonna stand out from the gold a lot more. Right now it's a little bit too. So I'm gonna try to leave this fleur de lis untouched, like still gold. But we might end up coming back to it just because it's not really, like, it's not shaded properly, so we might just touch it up the old-fashioned way. Okay. Let's do this. Let's keep doing the bolter pieces until we run out of bolter pieces. So the like mag drum or whatever it's called. Ammo box. And then we did the little like skulls on the robe in gold, but I think we might end up doing them black. I think that's gonna look nice. So the spear we're gonna do all silver for now, but I think the middle part here, like the grip part, I guess I don't know what to call this. The haft, the shaft, the shaft. Let's talk about shafts. You know what? Let's not, because this is YouTube, and I don't want to get banned or whatever. Hey, hey, look. But yeah, so we might end up doing that in purple or black. We'll see when we get there. I think both could work. It just depends on like the robe and stuff. I think black would look nice. So the thing is, like on all the sisters, the robes are all black, but this Morvenn Vahl, if we do the robe black, it's gonna look a little bit out of touch with the army because there's not gonna be any purple to it. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards doing the robes in purple. And then the blade we don't really care about because it's not gonna be any of these colors. Blade. This one is Tim Dietlef's for the team Canada. He's playing the Sisters of Battle. He's playing this and a bunch more that are unbuilt, or in this case over there, that I still have to get to. Right. I think, yeah, I like the missile pod idea. I think it's gonna break it off a little bit, even because we're also gonna do the missiles a different color. Right? The missiles are not gonna stay like uncolored like this. So I think this is gonna give us like a clean break. I like that idea. Okay, and then I think some pieces of the like the mechanical arm I think we should do in silver as well. Like the joysticks or whatever they're called. I should do most of it, yeah. And then other remote control gear. Okay, and then I guess the back. See, it's interesting because the back is the piece that has the most detail that we should put in silver, but also I think we want to keep some gold in there as well. So let's just do the two small, like, I don't know, thingies in the middle there, and then the big circle reactor thing. We'll do that in silver and be done with this. And then we could do the chain here in silver as well, just to get some different colors. I think we do that. I like that idea. The like we'll leave the pendant in gold, but the actual chain will do silver. Okay, I think we're good with this, and then maybe now would be a good time to stop this nonsense and do some color blocking, just so we can get a better grip of what's what. See my it's pretty simple. We won't need it. See how fast I changed my tune? Took me like 20 minutes. Alright, well, let's get the purple going. And then so once we have this like purple, because one part I find puzzling is the helmet. The helmet, I would like some different colors, but which one makes sense on this big gold mini is another, a question that needs answers. So but that's a cool thing about like characters that are like significantly different than the rest of the army, is that as long as you're kind of in the same ballpark, it's gonna look the part. So like even if this helmet is not the exact same as all the other like sister helmets in the army, because the gold is the same, the base is the same, and then the purple is very similar, and the black is gonna be the same. Like the exact pattern that we use does not matter as much, because it's expected to be different because the mini is significantly different, right? But also this mini hot. I've painted one or two before, and I've had a blast both times. Yeah, I painted two before. At least two. Let's put it that way. At least two, because I remember two different ones. Okay, well that's the bulk of the purple done, and I think we're gonna have to switch brushes here just to get some more. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean gold and purple is such a winner. No, I just want to redo all the like the bottom things. We only did kind of one dimension of it, so now we have to do kind of the insides. You know, like here, this is a good example. Okay. It doesn't look like much, but we're really we're in a good spot here. Because really, the purple and the gold are like the two main colors, and then everything else is just like fine tuning. There's a kind of like fine details around this. So oh, there's some silver here. Is gonna need some touch-ups. It's like not fully. Like you can still see the gold from this angle. And this purple is also probably like a two-coater. Like you can see, it's not like silky smooth, and you can still see through it a couple of times. In a couple of places, that is. And I honestly, I think that's kind of enough purple that the spear thingy is not like purple is not a wise choice for it. I think maybe we just do the helmet, like the actual like helmet. There we go. And then the rockets we're gonna do black. The actual rockets in there, as well as this big chunky thing. I think black is the proper color. And then the cables are gonna be cable color, and then the seals are gonna be like kind of a dark turquoise for the button, and then the same way that we did the skulls for the other pieces. So this is all of these little details is where we get to really tie it in the army. Like all the skulls are gonna be done the exact same way across the army. All the seals done the same way. So these are the small details that make up for the fact that this mini is otherwise significantly different than all of our friends. Which really is our own damn fault. Like, who gets a golden suit of armor, right? Like, who does that? Oh, but it's a gift from the, whatever. Look, if you didn't want to stand out, don't get a giant suit of gold armor. You know what I mean? It's on you. Right. Right. Okay, let's keep doing. Let's keep putting down base coats on this thing. We're having fun. We're having fun with the base coats. Fun with base coats. Let's do the pieces that I would like to be black, which is the spear and the rockets, and not much else, to be honest. So now we have to be the more we paint, the more careful we have to be, right? Whereas I'm pretty loosey goosey with everything, but now the gold we want to avoid touching, and then the purple as well. So we are much less like carefree than as we were before. Okay. And then, oh yeah, the rockets is what I said. It's tedious. So I did all one side, now we'll do all the other side. Cool. Whoa. Is there any other big aspects? I think for now we're gonna stick with this. We don't need to. We don't need to like overdo anything just yet, or like hard commit to anything. Next we'll do. We'll do incubi darkness, and we'll keep that color for all the wires basically. Oh, we'll also do the seal with this then. Is this how we did this? Hold on. Oh, this is not at all how we did this. Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. Huh. Huh. Oh, well. We are going to abandon this project real fast. Well, actually, we'll finish their other purity seals on there. I think. Yeah, there's at least one more. So the cables are not done that way in this army, so we are not gonna keep doing them this way. I use this technique for so many armies, I just kind of go to it very naturally, but apparently that is not what we did for this one here. So and while we got this color, we might as well do the black. We use this to highlight our black, so we'll do that right now. So I don't think there's any other purity seal. Let's just give this a quick look-see. This one. And the front one. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just highlight our black with this because we have it. And so we can be pretty generous because our goal here is going to be we highlight, we add an extra highlight on top of this, and then we reshade with like a black. So that's going to make it like very easy to do. Because we really don't need any kind of like precision or very limited amount of precision. We just get like one general highlight here, one finer highlight that we'll do right now. Because we're at this, you know, at this stage. Just get one more quick highlight like this. So this one a little bit finer, but again, not very precise or anything. We don't care too much. And we'll do the same thing on the little rockets. It's a little tedious. There we go. This makes the rocket pop like really well, I think. And then when we add the shading, it's going to be even more dominant because then the circle is going to be like really crisp. Like the circle behind each rocket is going to be very, very crisp. So it's a cool little detail. All right, so we're going to come back with our black here because all our cables apparently we paint black. So it's just a different highlight than what we just did. And this is another one of those like army decision, whereas on this specific mini, maybe this is not the best way to do the cables, but because it will make her fit in with the rest of the army, then it becomes a much better decision overall. Like it's not going to look wrong on the mini, otherwise we would need to switch. But if this was like kind of a standalone, we would do maybe different choices. But because this is part of an army, then we stick to the army. Oh, there's cables in the hands as well. So we have to not forget those. Like here. This is a messy part of the whole mini. Okay. So that is all kind of taken care of. So let's just double check on the cables front. Okay, looks good. Looks good. Oops, what's going on? Next up. Next up, I think, is coffee. Okay, coffee section dealt with. Let's get our wolf gray again. Do we still have some? Nope. Wolf gray. So now the wolf gray. Well, should we finish the purple maybe? Such a big color. Oh yeah, because maybe we wanted to do the skulls on there in black as well. So let's just finish the purple, see what we get with the purple. Because the purple is interesting. Because now we get to invent kind of a way to do purple. We're not gonna invent anything really. We got a couple of ways that we think works, but really, because the purple on the army is done a completely different way because it's the armor plates. So the armor plates are like a metallic purple. But if we do metallic purple on these robes, then it's gonna look like it makes no sense, right? Like, so that's kind of one of the drawbacks of that scheme, I guess, is like the purple, it fits on the metallics, but whatever's not metallic, you need to come up with like a different option. Or you just have to produce like a weird looking miniature because the robes are like metallic, have a metallic sheen to them, and that makes no sense whatsoever. But we are not gonna do that. So real, I'm going for like a second like light coat because I want this to be very opaque so that we can kind of move on with like a very opaque base coat, so that this effect is kind of easy to replicate and on some other minis if we want, and also easier to touch up if we make mistakes moving forward, which mistakes happen. You know what this? I know for a fact that these skulls are not gonna stay gold. I don't like it at all. So we're just gonna paint over it and not care. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. And this is kind of important. Like the base coat, it's sometimes you try to like shortcut it, but I think it's one of the worst steps to shortcut because if your base coat looks like ass, everything you add on top it usually end up looking like ass as well. So even though it's one of the longer steps, I think if you do that one really well, then you can shortcut everything that's on top of it. But if your base coat kind of sucks, then you have to put extra effort to make it not suck with everything you add on top. So it's a weird way of it's a weird thing because it's since it's a long step, you think, oh, that's where I need to like shortcut, right, or to make it faster, but it's not the right place usually, I found. It's where like when you put the time and effort into the base coat, usually you get the reward that goes with it, which is not always the case for like a lot of techniques. Actually, is not the solution. Base coats, kind of is. This now is a Screamer Pink that we're using, and it says pink on it, but it's not that pink to be honest. Oh, it's not too pink. It definitely. Like if I showed you only that color and said what color is this, you'd say pink. But if I put it next to like something like a bright pink, you'd say, well, this leaning on the violet and so it's a great like in betweener, I think. So this deeper area there, we don't really need to highlight it because in fact we're gonna just shade it so that it's that's how we get the good contrast in there. And we're not being like super loose with this because it doesn't take too much to turn this whole affair into pink, and we definitely do not want that. We want this color to stay purple. And then, because the next step, we could take black and then just shade this with black, which would be interesting. Well, we could also shade it with purple, and that will just make it even more vibrant, which I think is what we are interested in for this. So that's probably what we end up doing is going to be either a purple shade or the contrast paint that we sort of like thin down or applying like even coats or something. I haven't put that much thought into how we were getting there because this is a pretty this is a pretty unique thing where the other robes in this army are black because the sister's armor is a purple and it was done a different way. So this one is I guess a little bit reverse. So that cloak is like a one and done. Doesn't need to match anything. We just want to keep it purple because if it's pink, it's gonna look like it's a different fucking army. And like Sisters is one of those armies that does not look particularly good in pink. Because like like some armies are like really cool looking, in like like Emperor's Children is like a really cool like pink army and stuff. And like Tau, you can get like some really cool looking Tau with like pink. Sisters for some reason does not is not one of those like color that puts it like in that makes it like brings out any of the qualities of that army. Funnily enough. I think that's like a go-to to a lot of people. I want to paint pink. I'll paint a sister because it's a lady army, but yeah, not really. Like if I made like sisters for myself, that'd probably be like one of those grim dark armies, like all the kind of like rusty, all earth tones. I think that's one look that's like really really cool on sisters. Okay, we're in business. So now we're leaning into the pink. So that's why we have to. That's why we have to shade this properly. Because now it's really like this angle specifically has got that pink look to it. We don't want that. So let's do this now. Let's start with the shade, and if the shade is not like potent enough, then we'll move to the contrast paint. Because we know the contrast paint is gonna be potent enough. Because the like Luxion purple that don't mess around. Like it's a strong one. But Druki Violet is like a pretty decent shade as well. So since we have a good like highlight situation, we're gonna do one even coat on this whole thing instead of like trying to let it like pool and stuff. So instead of just like hammering it in and then letting it do its own thing, we're just gonna go for one even coat. And what that will do is that essentially it will tint our pink into a purple, like more purpley color. And we can get away with this because we were kind of careful with the highlighting. So we don't need to accentuate the highlight effect because it's already on there pretty well. Like not it's not perfect. It's not the silkiest blend you've ever seen, but it's on there. It's on the right spot. It's not too heavy. It's not too light. So we don't need the shade to do an actual like shading. All we need is to tint this color so that it looks purple and not pink. Again, and if we desire, we add some black to this or the contrast to it to get some extra shading afterwards. But we start with this one coat. Okay. Cool. So that's our purple taken care of. So we'll let this dry, but again, it's not gonna take too long to dry because we were not super like we didn't go like full heavy on this. Like we went pretty, overall pretty reasonable with it. Which also means we cannot do the black right just yet because we need the we need this to be dry because the skull. The one reason we did the purple now is because we wanted to do the little skulls on there in black. So we have to wait for this to dry. What we can do though is touch up our silver that was like kind of a little bit lackluster in there. Not a whole lot, but the ammo belt was kind of wacky. I think it was here, like on this side. There we go. And then let's just check on the missile because we did the missiles like pretty fast, but because they're like in a hole, it went pretty well. Doesn't look like there was big slips. Yeah, it looked pretty okay. Pretty okay, and also here I don't think we also messed up, so we're pretty good there. Okay, well, that one better than expected. let's take our, yeah, black should be fine now. So let's take our black again, and we'll do the 4 little skull on the robe. Oh, poo, there's a purple on the helmet that we totally did not do, so we'll come back to that. Okay, well, come back here, Screamer Pink. I kind of forgot we did the helmet. There we go. Right on. So now, let's get our wolf gray back in here. Where's the wolf gray? And so the wolf gray, what we're gonna do with this is we're gonna base coat our what was gonna be the purity seals, and then we're also gonna highlight all of the black areas, so all the cables essentially, and then the skulls that we just did. But we can start with the purity seals because they're most definitely gonna need 2 coats because sadly wolf gray is not that potent of a color. Well, you know, I say this, but it's looking not looking too bad. Okay. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. Okay, we are in business. Business. And then mind you, once we put this on, like the real base is gonna take like it's gonna shift drastically. Because the gold overspray is really underselling this mini, whereas we have a super dark base that goes, so it's gonna look pretty good. This is one of those you have to use the power of imagination to see the final result because it's really hard to. It changes the mini drastically when you switch the base around, especially when you have a base like that that has like full, that's like full of overspray. Ouch. Okay, and then those little skulls we can do. Like so. Except we'll take Celestial Gray. We'll kind of go for the rest of these little parchments. So we'll take our Celestial Gray, and then we'll just do all of our highlights we'll do in lines, the same way that like text would be written down, right? So. Because we don't really need to leave like a whole lot of this. We don't need a whole lot of the wolf grey to show through. But we do want some of it because it's a heavy contrast and it looks nice. And then last one here, whoopsie daisy. Okay. And then we'll take actually white. And we'll just do one other highlight on these little purity seal situation. Boop. So okay, this mini is turning out pretty good. Like this we got to this like this point in an hour 30, which is pretty great, I think. And then the because the thing I'm pondering now is how much are the eyes gonna change them? Because the middle of the mini is like very gold, right? Like with the helmet thingy in gold, it's like there's a lot of gold. So I'm gonna just take a quick, like a 30-second research purposes. I'm just gonna go look at some of other sisters that we did just to see how, because I think that's how the helmets were on the other sisters, but I'm just not sure enough. Because I think we need to do something on the chest situation. Tim, Sisters of the Battle. Show me. Yeah, so yeah, that's so the helmets are done that way. So the purple like back and then the front is gold. So I think what that means is we need to change something on the actual chest piece. Then again, the minis are like a lot of purple. The rest of the army is like a lot, like very purpley. I am not too sure where to go with this. I think maybe we take our black and we do all the like armor detail in black. Like there's a bunch of like a little fleur de lis in the chest. Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. Because like realistically, the only detail left like in this area is the eyes, which are gonna be like bright turquoise. So that's probably not enough to break this whole gold thing. So I think we'll do that. So we'll take a small. This is fine. We'll take a small brush, but this, I can do this with this one. We don't need to. What are we? All right. Whew. All right. Deep breath, folks. All right, we're doing this. This is stupid. Okay. This is the highest. There's like 15 of these little fucking things. Okay, well, there's 9, but it's still a whole lot of like little tiny details. So that's like the first pass, and I went pretty loose because I want to see what. Okay, so we might do. Okay, I think we're in. Okay. The neck, because the neck, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna paint. We're gonna paint the Is it Sororitas? Yeah, we're gonna paint that. I think in silver, and then with the shade, this should be. This should give us like something to like just break the all gold situation. Because like again, I love gold more than the average bear, you know, and this is still too much. So that's how you know. Is if I think it's too much, that means like it's really too much. Because I am lenient with this. Like so, and then again, now this doesn't look like much, but once we add some shading, because the olive dar silver is not shaded yet in this entire affair. So, but now we'll do the little flowers. Okay. Yeah, I like this because now there's some you can tell, like even if you don't see like right away, you can already tell that it's not just like plain gold, which I think this is exactly what we needed. Because the other aspect was maybe the arms, but there's really no logical color for the arms to be because it's another big piece of armor. So unless we went with the route of like doing these pieces of armor with like the purple that we did on the mini on the rest of the army, there's not a whole lot of like reason to do this. To do this any different, I mean, than how it is currently. So okay, right. So now let us let's shade some of this stuff here. See where we stand with the shading. Is there any? No. So I was looking at my little cheat sheet that doesn't say. Doesn't discuss what color the shading should be. That's perfect. That means we have some more freedom. Freedom. Okay. So let's start with the. I think this is gonna make the biggest impact because it's a big silvery piece, and like unshaded silver is like not great, you know, just not great. And in null oil, we need it to dry before we get like the real effect because when it's like wet, it looks like ass. This is gonna go from not great to ass to great, hopefully. So you have to bear with it a little bit. And then the little skull here. Boop. Do that one because otherwise I'll forget it. I can do this purity seal. And here on these, like the missile pads thing, we can be like pretty generous because the way that it's made, the shade is gonna fill every hole between the metal plate and the missiles themselves, and it's gonna really center them, and that's gonna be. It's like black lining for cheaters and lazy people, which we are both of these things. So that's like great, you know. It just works great for us. That's fine. And then the other little joystick situation. Okay, so now we're gonna have to be a little bit more careful with what we're doing with the chest situation. You know, just like with real girls, you know, you can play in there, you just have to be careful, you know. That's what we're interested in right now, and, you know, careful. But we definitely want to get in there. Okay, now. Yes. So, see, with the shade now, this top piece. Yeah, okay. Oh, yes. Perfect. So even though you can't really like pinpoint the exact like detail from like a this like distance, at least now it doesn't look so uniformly gold. So I think we've achieved exactly what we set out to achieve with this. So that's a good thing here that we got going. And also with the amount of purple that we got in the cloak and everything, I don't think we need to add purple to the gold, because that's another option that we do have, is adding some more purple to the gold, because like purple shading in the gold looks really well. It looks really nice. But since we have like a whole lot of purple going on, I don't think we need to, because then there will be too purple, if there's such a thing. Wait, and I believe there is such a thing. Okay. The ammo belt, where we're gonna be very thorough with it, because like when we highlighted it, when we base coated it, we didn't do that great of a job at first. We had to do touch-ups. So let's just make sure that we're. Yeah. Okay. The camera sometimes picks up these weird angles that are hard to see otherwise. So that's great. That's like a good use of the stream. You know, we have to make good use of the stream when we can, because it's like painting with the camera is like a hassle a lot of the time, but when there are advantages to it, we need to seize them, you know. Okay. I don't know if we did this section here, but it feels light, so we'll do like the inside of this spear. I think we skipped over it. And then the purple, if it was still like too pink, which I don't think it is, I think we found like a good balance of it. We could do a black shade on this right now, but again, I think we've struck like a good balance of not too pink, not too purple, deep and highlights. So next, the color we're gonna reach for is Temple Guard blue, green, Temple Guard blue. It's turquoise, so you never know if it's gonna be green or blue. It can be two things. And then we're just gonna highlight our purity seals real quick. I know this this might get me a couple of angry comments. That's okay. Purity seals are not typically green, but it kind of works for this army. So because we're going with like a cool theme overall, and this like putting these red would be completely wild. Like it would be so out of place. And so the good colors here are black or this little turquoise. And the reason why this turquoise works is that this spear is going to glow turquoise in like a matter of seconds. And the eyes of the mini as well. And so we're going to have some of that blue showing through somewhere, you know. A bunch of ways to do eyes. In fact, we've got a bunch of videos on this channel on this very topic. I feel like I want to do one of these like buttons in turquoise. Like the button you press when you discard one miracle dice and then you go like Super Saiyan with this, I think is what we need here. You know, like it's not completely OP, but then you discard one miracle dice and now suddenly it's like a whole other affair. That's the button I'm talking about. And then I don't think we did the chain here that's on the around the belt. So I think we're gonna do that. And we might actually I think we're gonna cheat this one in a little bit more. And we're gonna do that by using Black Templar contrast paint instead of Null Oil. And the reason I want to use this is to create this outline for it so that it really stands out that we did put this like extra effort in there. Like the chain is not just like another gold piece, it's its own thing, you know. Do we have white still in the... Oh, yes we do, yes we do. So now we're gonna just finish the eyes real quick with white and this temple guard mixed together. We don't like I think there's Baharad blue that's like kind of that color, but there's no. Oh yeah. And then we'll do the same with the little buttons over there. Okay. And then if we wanted, we could re-highlight the seals with this, but I don't think we need the seals to like stand out and be like kind of glowy, any glowy kind of color. Because they're not like really like a super like interesting part of this mini. Like you don't want to know, like the seals are like they're there and it's cool, but like we don't want them to. We don't need anybody to really like notice them. Per se, so that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And then we definitely have the glow. I'm just looking for other like details that maybe we might have missed. I think this is like there's a photo of this here, which I think we're gonna. Just give a little bit more gold to it. Again, just to make sure this looks like it's a gold piece and not just like some random detail. There's weirdly enough no gems in the armor plate, which is like a very Games Workshop-y thing to do. Which is like, you know, it's a very intricate like piece of armor and they put like gems in the most odd places. So but this one does not, so that's, I like that personally, that there's no, it would make cool details to paint, but it's kind of a stupid idea when you think about the armor aspect of it. So now all that's left to do is fire up the airbrush, and we'll make this spear into something really interesting to look at. And by really interesting to look at, I mean we're gonna make it glow in the dark, but also glow in the light. Hey, good job, Morvenn Vahl. Very unsure if I have to go. Depends on how far I can get with my painting stuff during today. Sadly, is lots of deadline coming up. That being said, I did put in a whole lot of work hours in the last couple of days, so we'll never know. We will never know. I'll try. Thank you for being here, bud. Much appreciated. Alright, so a bunch of ways to do this, by the way. On this fine fella here, a bunch of ways to do the glowy stuff. You can leave some black. You can do it with white. You can do it like a cross pattern. We're on this army. We're doing just like with white and turquoise. And we're gonna kind of stick with it for the character, but we're also gonna maybe put a little bit more effort into it, right? So we're gonna keep the same kind of pattern, which is just these two colors, these two colors, but we'll like add like an extra edge on it, and we'll try and make it a little bit smoother than what we did on the other pieces, just because it's is the main character again. If there ever was like a main character in an army, I think Morvenn Vahl is like the one. Oh yeah. Ooh, there's a game day. That's a fun thing. The camera doesn't like the glow too much, but it works. It works. Don't worry. Okay, there we go. And then, so we can save this color here. So we'll dump this into our little palette, and then we'll just add the white to it, and that'll give us like a good thing. We'll just clean the airbrush real quick. Excuse me here, because I'm gonna use the airbrush in like 15 minutes after this stream, so it doesn't need to be like super deep cleaned. Okay. But we do need to rinse it out because I don't want this to. I actually need to use it, so if it's like all gunked up, I need to. Spend my time cleaning instead of painting. So that sucks. So we don't want to do that. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. That's rinsed enough. For our purposes, at least, I would not suggest you do that with your airbrush, but since I'm about to use it, it won't make that big a deal. So now we can add some extra hedge highlight with this color here. But we'll add some white to it already. Like this is our highlight color that we just used in the airbrush, but we'll add some white to it. Just to get like even more kind of contrasting color. So I don't know if this is gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna focus. Yeah, it doesn't. Nope, it is not having it. I'm sorry, guys. Let be known that I tried. That being said, now we have at least like the mini. Now at least you notice exactly what you want to notice, and then the only thing left here. Well, we'll have two things. First off, is removing this base. There we go, tactical breakage. And then putting her on the actual base that we intend to use for this. And lucky for us, the foot is already kind of like etched in there, so that's going to make this very easy, I think. Famous last words. Remember that I said this is going to be very easy. I feel like I might have jinxed myself pretty bad here. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. And now, that's what I was saying, is like the difference between... Of course. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the difference between the mini on like the random ass base with like overspray, and the mini with like the finished base, so to speak, is like, it's completely insane. Which brings us to the last step for this miniature. Hey, Mr. Dwarf. Mr. Dwarf coming in for the best part, the black rim job. I know what you like. That's right. So I think we didn't do one last stream, which is, you know, the best part of all of these streams is the good old black rim job there. And this adds to the cleanliness of the whole piece. This is another one of those, like, it's a small step, but it's a small step with like a very big impact that you can kind of hardly tell. Like, you know it makes a big difference, but it's hard to tell, oh, it's because the rim is clean. It's just how it is. So there's no like extra like dry brush that's like rubbing on the side or anything. There we go. One mean Morvenn Vahl that's soon going to travel to Europe. All right, guys. Well, that was that went like really well. It was a really cool stream. Took us basically 2 hours, but a couple of the things were already, you know, well underway. But pretty happy with the result here. I like this. I like this look, and it's gonna go super well with our army. So yeah, pretty happy with this. New video tomorrow, as usual. I don't remember what it is. And then next Thursday we're gonna do something I haven't thought, but maybe a Master of Execution, maybe a Karn the Betrayer, maybe Uriel Ventress. I don't know what we're gonna do next week, but we're gonna do something. So yeah, stick around for that. And till next time, no excuses. Hobby like champions. Have a great day.